Hey Wolfpack, and welcome back. I hope all is well, and I hope you had a good week. Today is finally Christmas Eve, and today we're reading I Don't Think I Can Ever Check Out of This Hotel, written by TowerBell. So with that said, whether you're sitting around a campfire, on the night shift, or even laying in bed, let my voice soothe your nightmares. Did you ever get one of those low, rumbling feelings in your gut, telling you to turn around before things go to hell? That's how I felt in the parking lot of the Hidden Forest Manor Hotel. I really should have listened, but I was tired from long hours on the road over the past 3 days. It was dangerous to keep driving in that state. I needed a place to crash, and I've already paid for this one. I'd found it that morning while I was sipping coffee at a highway rest stop. It was one of those themed hotels. It's not normally something I'd go for. Honestly, all I ever want from a hotel is a place to shower and crash for the night. This place had been the cheapest place on my route that didn't have reviews that mentioned bed bugs. So, I figured I could handle it for a single night. In fact, all the reviews had been glowing, and many had mentioned an amazing morning breakfast. So, I shoved the last bit of a Pop-Tart in my mouth and hit the book button. The place was a bit creepy. I know that was the point, and I told myself I was being a bit ridiculous. But it spooked me right from the start. The lobby was dark and several people in shabby costumes were milling around in it. "Room 205, aren't you lucky?" The smiling woman at the front desk said, passing me my key cards. "Lucky?" I inquired. "It's one of my favorites," the woman said. "Enjoy your stay, dear." I thanked her and walked off to find my room. The elevator looked a bit suspect, like it might break and send me crashing to my death. So, I took the spiral staircase instead. I found 205 down a narrow hallway that was just as dimly lit as the lobby. I opened the door to find a very pretty room waiting. It had a large bed, an old oak desk, green curtains, and a few lamps scattered about. I tossed my duffel bag on the desk chair and headed into the bathroom, needing it after my long drive. The bathroom was tiny, hardly big enough for the tub, sink, and toilet. There was no window, and the overhead light above didn't give off much light either. I checked out the toiletries while I was washing my hands and wrinkled my nose at the Onothera label on them all. I was glad I had soaps and lotions of my own with me. I had a friend who lost her eyebrows to that stuff a couple back. I splashed some water on my face, trying to wake myself up. I still had that zombie feeling lingering after being in the car for so long. "When are you leaving?" a woman's voice asked. It startled me enough that I jumped and slammed my hip into the sink. I turned to find a girl staring at me from the bathroom doorway. She looked young, like a college-aged kid, so I thought she might have been part of the hotel's staff at first. I hadn't heard her come in, but I was feeling pretty out of it, so I just shook it off. "Sorry, do you work here?" I asked. The girl adjusted her large glasses and smiled at me before answering. "I live here," she said. She had an airy, a lilting sort of voice with the touch of an accent I couldn't place. "This is my room. I was wondering when you'd be leaving. You'd been here such a long time already." "I just checked in," I said, frowning. I wasn't sure what to make of that. I guessed that maybe this was part of the theming. "It's so hard when people stay so long," the girl said, as if she hadn't even heard me. "I get terribly restless." "I'll be leaving in the morning," I said. "Oh, well good. Thank you for letting me know," the girl said. She smiled at me again and nodded like my answer hadn't satisfied her. Then she vanished. I don't mean she ran out of the room. I mean she just stopped being the bathroom doorway. She nodded and then was gone. I gripped my hand onto the edge of the sink and took a long breath. I figured there was 3 options on the table here. 1, This place was very higher budget than it looked, and those were some amazing special effects. 2. I was having some sort of too many nights on the road induced nervous breakdown. Or 3. There was an actual ghost in my hotel room. All things considered, I decided that option 1 was most likely. Still, I couldn't totally rule out option 2, so I decided a nap might be my best bet. Have you ever not realized how tired you were until your body hits the bed? You think you're doing okay, but then you lay down, and every muscle in your body throbs. Your head hits the pillow, and your eyes are so heavy it's nearly painful. Yeah, this was that kind of nap. The bed wasn't very comfortable, but I've slept on worse. I was out cold before I really had much time to think about it. I woke up about an hour later to find the girl staring at me from the end of the bed. "You're still here," she said, tilting her head at me so sharply that it couldn't have been comfortable for her. It's not morning, is it?" I asked, fumbling under a pillow for my phone. "It's been a very long time," the girl said. I shook my head. The time on my phone confirmed it had only been an hour. "Do you?" I paused, sitting up and trying to figure this out. It could all be part of the hotel's theme, an act or something. A very, very weird act. "Do you want me to call the front desk? Try and get a different room?" "Oh no," the girl said, eyes going wide. She put a hand over her mouth like she was shocked. "You can't call the desk. They might put you in one of the bad rooms." "There are bad rooms?" I asked. "Oh yes, very bad rooms. My room is the best, I think. You think it's lovely too, don't you?" she asked. "It's great," I agreed. I still wasn't sure whether I was talking to a ghost, my own hallucination, or an actress, but I decided it couldn't hurt to be agreeable about it, no matter what. I'm not sure if it was my own ingrained southern politeness, a survival instinct, or both. "Have you lived here long?" "Since it was built," the girl said. "You're very nice, you know." Thanks," I said. "We could share my room if you want. You can stay as long as you like," she said. She leaned in close to me when she did, leaning across the bed to smile at me with wide eyes. I hadn't noticed it before, but there was something not quite right about her. I don't just mean the disappearing in the odd conversation. I mean, she didn't look all the way right. You know when something breaks and you're able to superglue it back together? You can still use it, and it's not broken anymore, but it never looks the same again. Even if you do it carefully and repaint over the cracks, it's not fully fixed. The edges don't line up like they should. You always know it was broken. That's what she reminded me of up close. I couldn't see any cracks in her, but I knew they must be there. It made a chill run down my spine. I forced a smile anyway. I felt certain I shouldn't make her angry, even if she was an actress, or the product of mental breakdown. "Sure," I said. "We can share until I leave in the morning." "Yay!" she said, clapping her hands excitedly. Then she disappeared again. I blinked into the now empty room, feeling more than a little unsettled. I swiped my phone open and pulled up some travel apps, looking for any available rooms at nearby hotels. No luck. Every other hotel in the entire Tri-County area was totally booked. The closest room I could find was an hour-and-a-half drive away and priced at over $300 a night. There was no way I could afford that, especially since if I left, I'd have to swallow the non-refundable cost of this room. I needed a new plan. I got up and rifled through the desk, looking for hotel information. I thought maybe there might be an explanation somewhere. Something like one of those welcome cards hotels have about housekeeping and room service. But that explained how rooms in this hotel had strange ghost actress girls. I didn't have any luck finding anything with information about the girl. I did, however, find out there was a hotel bar on the 6th floor. I decided I could definitely use a drink. Several drinks, if I was going to need to sleep in a room where a ghost or actress or maybe a projection of my own brain kept popping up. Plus, I figured I could talk to the other hotel guests at the bar. It seemed like a good way to figure out if anything weird was happening to anyone else. So, I ran a brush through my hair and swapped my hoodie for a sweater. I was at the door when she appeared again. "Hi, you look nice. Where are you going?" she said, popping up between me and the door. "I was just gonna go grab a drink at the bar," I said. She frowned. "Oh, I don't think you should go out there," she said, shaking her head. "I'll be right back," I said. She shook her head again. No, that would be a bad idea," she said. She looked very troubled about the thought of me leaving. "Why would it be a bad idea?" I asked. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach I wouldn't get that drink after all. "It's too close to the show and showtime isn't safe," she said. As if in a cue, 3 long chimes rang out. It seemed like the whole building vibrated with them. "What show?" I asked. "The nightly show," she said, looking at me with wide eyes. I bit my lip. I'd skimmed over a mention of a nightly show on the website, but I'd assume it was a people in costumes serve appetizers thing, and not given it much thought. That might have been a mistake. A scream rang out in the hallway, then another, and another, and then more. Enough that I couldn't count them individually anymore. "What's happening?" I asked. "The show," the girl said, shaking her head sadly. "But," I started. I suddenly was feeling sure that all those glowing reviews had been fakes. "You need to hide before they come," she said. I felt myself being shoved toward the bathroom. She wasn't even touching me, but I was being moved along all the same. "In the bathroom. Even I can't go in there." "Wait, what?" I attempted as I stumbled into the bathroom. I was cut off by the frantic waving of the girl's hands. I could still hear the screaming. "Shh," she said. "I'll handle it." There was a knock on my door then. "Miss, are you ready for dinner?" a booming voice asks. It sounded oddly friendly, considering the screaming behind it. The girl put her finger over her lips and shook her head at me before heading over the door. I couldn't see the conversation that happened at the door, but I could hear it. "She's not here, Barry," the girl said. "Damn it, Annie. Again? You know management doesn't like that." The voice at the door, Barry, I guess, said. "Sometimes I can't help it," she said, giggling a little. "They'd gonna take your room if you keep killing people before showtime," Barry said. From my spot in the bathroom, I felt my stomach lurk. The screaming in the hallway was mixed with whimpering now. What the fuck was happening? "You let me worry about that," she said, still giggling. "Now shoo, off to work." I heard the door shut. I wondered if I should grab some sort of weapon, but I was pretty sure shampoo didn't help fight whatever this was. Then, I remembered that she'd even said I can't go in there about the bathroom. So I hung back against a sink, hoping that was true. "Hi again. That was close," she said. Popping up in the doorway, she stopped right in the doorframe as if she really couldn't cross it. "What's happening out there?" I asked. "I told you. It's the nightly show," she said. "Okay, but are they killing all the guests?" I asked, gripping the sink edge again. "No," she said with another giggle. "Not all of them. That would be ridiculous. Just 2 or 3, but everyone else has to watch and it's really gross. They probably wouldn't have picked you, but you're still better off in here." "Right," I said. "So, I heard the guy at the door call you Annie. May I call you Annie?" "Of course. We're friends now," she said, looking pleased. "Is it true what he said? Have you killed people? Are you going to kill me?" I asked. I braced myself against the sink so hard it was painful. It was oddly comforting, though. "We're friends now," Annie repeated, shaking her head at me as if I'd hurt her feelings. Then she added, "Not all the time. Some people are just so mean to me. They throw things at me and call me terrible, horrible things, even though this is my room. Not everyone is nice like you." I let out a long breath. So being polite had been a good instinct after all. My grandma would be so proud of me. "That doesn't sound rude," I said. "It really is," Sometimes I just lose my temper when that happens, Annie said. She giggled again. I fought back the urge to throw up. Okay, but Annie, you told them I was dead. How am I going to check out in the morning? I asked. Oh, don't worry. I can sneak you out, Annie said. Then she smiled. But you don't have to leave right away. You could just stay. Now that we're friends, I'll share my room with you. It would be like a sleepover. I could even braid your hair. That's so nice of you. But won't they want to put other guests in this room? I said, trying hard to sound cheerful about the idea. I got the feeling Annie didn't really know the difference between mean to her and scared as hell, and I didn't want to risk it. I could hide you. I'm very good at hiding, Annie said. I'm sure you are, I said. Out in the hall, the sound of screams had mostly faded, just a loud whimper or shout occasionally. I took a breath, trying to figure out what to do next. I was sure I wasn't getting out of this room on my own. I needed to go get the police here, and I needed to stay in the bathroom until they arrived. Can you give me a few minutes? I'm gonna take a shower and call my sister, I said. Annie giggled again. Of course, but you can't make any calls, silly, she said. What do you mean? I asked, swallowing hard. You can't call outside from inside the hotel. It's not possible, Annie said. You can take a shower though, or a bubble bath. We have the best bubble bath soap, and I love this smell. That's probably a good idea, I said. Annie waved, then disappeared again. I tried to call the police as soon as she left. It turned out she was right. My phone wouldn't dial out. I couldn't send texts either. Twitter and Instagram kept giving me error messages too. I went ahead and made a bath. I'm not touching that Unathera bubble bath, but I did want the excuse to be in here for a while. I'm sitting in the bathtub now, typing all this out. Maybe someone will see it. Maybe it can at least be a warning. I don't know how much longer I have until she'll come back. I have no idea how I'm going to get out of here. Making a run for it obviously isn't an option. What's in the hall sounds worse than trying to keep Annie calm. I know she can't step into the bathroom, but I don't know what she can do from outside if I try to just hide in here. I don't think I want to find out. Thanks for watching, Wolfpack. If you want to catch me by the fire next time, I upload every weekend including Friday. Don't forget to like the video as it helps me out more than you know. If you want to submit your story, head down to the description. Now, here's Roken to howl you off to sleep. Have beautiful nightmares.